coaching call. Now, as you come live, thank you for being here live. Just know this time isn't going to work for everyone, but that doesn't mean that the whole team isn't still watching the recording. And so recognize that what you put in the chat today, or maybe what you messaged me before the call, it all has value. And we're really thinking about those ripple effects, those small ripples that we make in our life that affect our own life, or those small ripples we make in our life or others' lives that affect their lives. And the reality is that we live in communities, we live in society. Our life, we can't just live in our own little bubble. And so every little ripple we can send out within ourselves or to other people by joining live on this call, participating, watching the recording, can really change your life because your neighbor is nicer to you, or the people at the grocery store are just naturally healthier and happier. You're not getting as much road rage. Like, this world can be so much happier, especially during a stressful time of the year, if we can pour into ourselves as best we can. So that's my great gratitude rant. Today, we are going over our kind of team goal for 2026 and Black Friday with Phorm. And then we're going to talk about how to completely and totally enjoy Thanksgiving for real. Like, I'm not giving you rules, but you're not going to fall off track or feel like you've taken any steps back by completely and fully enjoying the holidays. So there's a few action items that you can take with you. So our 2026 goal for the team, we want to help 30 women by the end of January 2026. Now, the bulk of those women are going to come in January, like we all do, right? New Year's resolutions. But the women who start now, like all of you doing the work right now, the women who start now are more likely to stick around because they built the momentum, they took the missteps, they ran into the obstacles and chose to keep going. Versus when we start in the new year, when everyone else is doing it, right? The average amount of time someone gives up on their New Year's resolution, I think, is like 9 to 13 days. But starting now means it's not just a New Year's resolution. It's a true goal that you've had and will have into the new year. So we're really trying to bring in 30 new women. So how can you encourage women to join you in your journey? It could be a simple conversation of that you're tracking your calories in an app, or you do a weekly coaching call with your coach, whatever it may be. But I want to encourage you to be a leader, maybe get out of your comfort zone and share what you're doing with people, because you never know if that's really going to click for someone else too. And they just don't have the courage quite yet. Now, I want your results, your experience, this program to incentivize you on its own to invite people in. But I do also want to give back to you. So if you bring one person into the program, that means that they signed up, they're paid for coaching. I'll give you $25 cash or $25 off your next month. 2 women in is $60 cash and a one-on-one private 60-minute Zoom call with me, which is $100 value. And then 3 referrals or more, I'll give you $100 cash and any Phorm supplement of your choice. And I really just want to pour back into you and continue to acknowledge those ripples that you're creating and encourage them. So maybe if the person is uncertain, send them my info, or vice versa. I can reach out to them, start just liking their posts, whatever it is. So moving on from that, Phorm Black Friday. So Phorm's Black Friday is incredible because Phorm doesn't do sales. They don't do discounts. Why not? Why don't you get a discount code from me? Because what we truly believe in is we don't want to undervalue what you're getting. If you get it at a discounted price, that's what you're going to deem the value is. And the quality, if you've experienced Phorm products, is undeniable. And so it's not going to be the kind of website that has that banner of the sale ending in a certain number of hours, and the next day a new sale comes up and that banner is always happening. You know those ones? They're just really eager to push that stuff in your face. We trust the quality, we believe in the results, and we love the experience. And you guys can drop in the chat if you want to, anything that you love about your Phorm products. So the way that Black Friday works is they are going to take any apparel that isn't new and highly, highly discount it, like 25 to up to 60% off. So all the apparel you see me wear, you see other people wear, if you see it on their Instagram, that's going to be so deeply discounted, which is so fabulous for just getting new exciting apparel for the new year as you dive into a remotivation season. And then there's going to be like hundreds of pieces of new apparel, whether it's stuff you've seen in the past in new colorways. There's going to be a mahogany color, a winter green color, a really pale kiwi off-white color, just some really beautiful pieces, both feminine and functional. And if you have questions about sizing or how things fit, just let me know because I literally own it all. It's the only apparel I wear, and that would be the case whether or not I knew who Phorm was or not. It's just that good. Also, when you spend a certain amount, 150, 250, 350, you get a big bundle of gifts with your purchases. This is really just added value of saying, we know that these products are going to help you get results. Here's some extra goodies. 'Tis the season. So that's what Black Friday is going to look like. And then every single day, I'll be doing little special gifts for the first couple people that make their Black Friday purchases. They'll all be valued the same throughout the week, so don't feel rushed. But I will be doing some goodies and I'll email it out and put it on my social media. So that's Black Friday. If anyone live has questions about supplements or apparel, just drop them in the chat or let me know. Okay. Sip your water. Next up, Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving and all the holidays that are to come are usually riddled with food, drinking, sweets, calories, social pressure, social stress, all that kind of thing. This is why a lot of people just wait until the holidays are over to get started. And I'm sure you've heard it. Thanksgiving and Christmas are only 3 days out of the year, but it doesn't feel that way when Trader Joe's drops all the pumpkin spice stuff in August and it's so good and you're eating it all the way through. Oh, and then the peppermint bark comes out. I get it. And so we're just going to talk about Thanksgiving Day because that's what's happening this week. Thanksgiving Day, when you're on a journey, people usually will just say, let's just throw the day out the door and be done with it. But what happens usually is that day leads into the next day, or we know that day's coming. So like maybe yesterday and today and tomorrow really weren't big days for you because you knew you were going to mess up on Thursday. So let's talk about Thanksgiving. I want you to be able to fully enjoy the holiday. You are not going to stick to a program that you resent or you don't feel like is sustainable. And so I want you to go into Thanksgiving with no qualms. But I also want you to go into Thanksgiving as the person that you want to be, not the person that you've been, that you're clearly in this program with me for to try to improve and get better and move a little away from. And so really get to know who that person is today and tomorrow. Ask yourself a lot of questions. Would Caitlin at her absolute healthiest have 4 pieces of pumpkin pie, even though she's not hungry anymore? Would Stephanie at her absolute strongest eat all the cheese and crackers before dinner and then just force feed herself dinner because like that's what we're all expected to do? What would you do and act as if you are that person? Now, those might not be the examples you run into, but it'll come to your mind. I'll be on your shoulder. So when it comes to navigating what you're eating during the meal, I want you to first and foremost prioritize meat and veggies. Okay, so those are going to be your priorities. So it's going to be the turkey or the ham, and then whatever vegetable dishes are available. That in and of itself is probably going to be the normal amount of calories you get from your what would be a normal dinner. But then you have the potatoes with the butter and the gravy and the this. And at that point, we're saying, F it, it's out the door. And so again, we're not going to worry about the meal. But if you want to have a little bit of hold on the reel here, protein and veggies are your priority. Small tastes of all the other things will keep you in a better spot. Now, on the day of, we are going to hit our protein goal as quickly as we can. So if you're one who normally is shoving like 40 to 60 grams of protein in your dinner, catching up late at night with your treat, try to get it in the morning. So I have a recipe for like a I think it's like a 60-gram protein pancake recipe, and then collagen coffee. Like, boom, 70 grams. That's half of what I needed. So try to shove as much protein as you can in the morning. And what I also want you to do is try to avoid carbs as much as you can throughout the day before your meal. Now, I don't want you to go into the meal starving, and protein and hydration will help with that. Eating carbs that make sense, fruit, complex carbs, maybe a whole grain piece of toast. But don't purposefully throw carbs on, because we want to save those carbs, save those calories for your big meal. So really prioritizing protein while limiting calories overall, so you have room in the tank for that meal, so you're not going so overboard. Does that make sense? Okay, so we covered the calories in control. But what if we burned a bunch of calories that day? Now, I'm not one for punishment and reward. This is just checks and balances. I burned more today. I'm not worried about eating more. Now, don't get into that mindset all the time. This is for special occasions, when you're out on holiday. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just said that. I watch way too much Bluey with my daughter. When you're out on holiday. Anyway. So in this moment, I am expecting to eat a lot of calories that I'm not quite in control of. There's the piece. I'm going to burn as many as I can today. It is working extra hard in your workout that day, making sure you work out that day, and taking a 45-minute walk. You have the day off work. I know the day looks different, but you can move that in. Having conversations with family. Who wants to do a walk after Thanksgiving dinner? 10 minutes. Everyone is going to feel so much more alive, digested. There's not going to be that after dinner lethargic feeling if the whole family just walks for 10 minutes around the block. And you did that for your family and for yourself. So find those moments, right? There's not enough chairs. You volunteer to stand. Okay. Mini dance parties with the kids at the party, whatever it is, burn those calories, prioritize a workout and a walk, and then fit the other stuff in. Okay. That's day of. If anything specific's coming up with like dessert and things, just remember it tastes good the first serving around. If you are honest to God still hungry, okay. But again, be honest with yourself and know that pumpkin pie's been in the stores for 3 months. That wasn't your only chance to eat it. So where's that programming coming from that's telling us to overeat? And hey, it's okay to overeat. But are you prepared the day after? And did you prepare yourself the week before? So we're going to step away from Thanksgiving. Major takeaways: prioritize meat and veggies, get walk and workout in, limit calories in the day leading up. Okay, let's talk about today and tomorrow. Today and tomorrow, we want to continue to limit carbs. So if you're tracking macros with me, I'm okay with you backing off about 25 to 50 grams of carbs today and tomorrow. If you're already pre-tracked for today, it's okay. But tomorrow, back off 25 or 50 grams of carbs. What you're doing is you're depleting your muscle's glycogen storage. You're not feeding your muscle the carbs that it needs. And so it's empty and ready and waiting for Thanksgiving dinner. It'll go straight into your muscle. Similarly, during your workout, doing that high repetition and doing lots and lots of reps is really going to fatigue and take that glycogen out of the muscle too. Those carbs that are in our muscle will be gone and empty, and Thanksgiving dinner will replenish it. And so we're kind of really scooping out the cave before we fill it. I don't know what kind of reference that was. So that's the approach for the next day and a half. In reality, you really just want to prime yourself to be in the best position possible to respond Friday to a brand new day, to getting quote unquote back on track. Because if you're just kind of mediocrely going about your week and then you have a really rough day, your body's not going to respond quickly. And that's why people gain a couple pounds at the holidays and then kind of just keep gain or kind of stay at that gained weight. And then the next holiday or event comes up, they gain a couple pounds and they stay there. Gain a couple pounds, stay there. So prepare your body for Friday with that. And you're going to feel so much better about Thanksgiving because you're like, I had such a great week. This day has got nothing on me. I'm going to enjoy it. I know who I am. I know my discipline. I know the standards that I held for myself all week this week. And I know the standard I'm going to hold for myself after. I can guilt-free enjoy this. Yeah. And maybe you haven't experienced that for yourself yet. Act as if. Act as if. It's like fake it till you make it, but more legitimate. Friday. So Friday is the day after. My number one tip for you is to pre-track your day. Oh, by the way, you do not have to track on Thursday. You're welcome. I know what you're eating. If you want to track the beginning of the day, just to kind of understand that you're limiting carbs and where you're limiting it, great. If you want to track your workouts that you did, cool. But Friday, pre-track your day. If you're going to be eating leftovers, track them. They don't have to be perfectly accurate, but I want you to remind yourself on Friday who you are and where you're headed. So pre-tracking, you can, I wouldn't eat less calories the day after. Because when you shove a bunch of food into your body on Thursday and then restrict yourself on Friday, which is probably what most people do who don't have a coach talking real to them, you restrict yourself, kind of punish yourself. Your metabolism was like, whoa, we had all this food. Whoa, we're having no food. The next day, it's just going to hold on to all of it. Like, where's that more she gave us on Thursday? So just eat your normal calories. I promise I have assigned you a calorie deficit. So what you eat at your calorie assignment is less than what you're burning if you go about your day as usual. So pre-track, even if it's leftovers, and get those intense steps in and a great workout in the same way that you did on Thursday. That might be hard to do if you don't mind your alcohol. Act as if. Become the woman that you want to be a year from now, which means letting go of some things that have held you back for the last year. This is where the moderation concept came from because they didn't want to take people's stuff away when they haven't yet identified with the boundaries and the things that aren't working for them. So try the Just Leave version of moderation of just what would the healthiest, best version of myself choose to do today? You want to be her. The only reason we don't act like her is because we don't believe that we can act like her for long enough for the results to actually come, because things like Thanksgiving keep happening. So that's a you versus you thing. I'm here to support you working through that. So those are my tips for this week. Does anyone have any questions? Good job, Stephanie. Saw that water. Does anyone have any questions watching live about the approach, or maybe we want to practice a boundaries conversation with family members? I don't know. Maybe doing a Thanksgiving dinner and I'm totally triggering you, and I'm so sorry if you don't have plans for Thanksgiving. Send this recording to someone who does, and let's have a different conversation about what this week's going to look like for you. But
I do have a question, but I don't know if it's like related, not really related
that's
to
okay.
Thanksgiving though.
Hit me.
So I've been better about hitting like the calories and the protein every day, and I see it working, but I see that I'm not hitting my carbs, but I'm usually going over on my fats. How bad is that? Because I still see the weight going down, so I don't know. I seem to have like higher fat than I ever do carbs.
Yes. This is such a good question. And thank you so much for asking it, because you're not the only person who goes through it. Your goal is calories and protein. And the reason why I don't force you to hit your carbs and fats specifically is because calories are calories are calories. Hit your calories however you need to. You're going to be in a calorie deficit. But we have to hit our protein, because if we're in that calorie deficit and not hitting our protein, that's where we lose muscle. So how do the carbs and fats fit into this? Your fats are probably a little higher because in an effort to hit your protein goal, our fats naturally go up. on their own. And then you add in fats we're actually eating. The only time where it's really not great to be under on our carbs and over on our fat is when we're finding that we're tired, hangry, low energy, because that's what carbs do for us. Carbs give us energy, they fuel our muscle, they keep our blood sugar, right? Carbs are sugar, blood sugar stable. And so, if we're under eating on carbs, you just want to make sure that you're not feeling weak in your workouts, cravings from low blood sugar, or just tired. And if that's not happening for you, awesome. I would encourage you to try to hit your carbs a little bit more and see how you feel. And that would mean choosing leaner meats. So, mostly just chicken, high percentage ground meat, white fish. Red meats and sausages and things will get you in those higher fats. Um, if it means cutting out peanut butter and avocado for a week, just see how you can fit that into carbs and get more vegetables and fruit for that natural energy and micronutrients, go for it. But I'm just grateful, Caitlin, that you're hitting your calories and protein consistently and that you're able to arrive at a point in your journey where you can start asking those kinds of questions. I'm doing it right. It feels good. Now, what about this? Because a lot of people would be like, well, what about this? Before they're even doing the game plan, the micromanaging before you macro manage, no pun intended. So, does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Uh-huh. Stephanie, do you have anything for us? By the way, only Steph, you guys can't see her watching, only Stephanie looks good from this angle, like looking straight.
Well, sorry, I'm cooking. Actually, I'm making this really cool recipe. Do you want me to tell you what it is?
Yes, please.
Yes. So I took a whole bunch of zucchini and I cut it up and I can do onions. So I sauteed some onions and some tomatoes for a little bit of moisture. And then I did the zucchini, sauteed the zucchini. So no oil, right? So far. And then I took some ground turkey and I cooked that all really nice, yummy, yum, and put that in with that. And now I'm putting in some eggs like this. Can you see them? Eggs, regular eggs. I'm going to scramble those in. So it's in Italian, it's called kind of like a pasticcio, right? So it's got all that protein from the turkey and the eggs. And then I've got my veggies, which I don't eat enough of. So my veggies in there, no oil, no sugar, no fat. And it's a really awesome, yummy bowl. You could just do it in a bowl. You could serve it over, if you wanted a higher carb, you could serve it over rice.
Oh,
Um,
that's awesome. That's so good. But bowls are such a trick, such a good trick when it comes to eating well, because it's stir fry. It's just stir fry. You just
yeah,
veggies and meat. There you go.
yeah. And it's so good. And then I just keep it in the refrigerator whenever I want a snack. I'm a big sweet person, so I like to have some savory food in my fridge, so I will reach for that instead of the sweets. I'll just grab a couple scoops of that, or I'll put them in individual bowls, and then I'll pull one out.
Cool.
Anyway, so sorry, that's what I'm doing. I'm cooking. I don't have any questions. Of course, I have a huge problem, but this could be for another day with sweets, and that's going to be one of my things. When you said, if you're going to make some goals for the new year, make them now. I'm the opposite. I'm like, let me just eat all the sweets I can before my New Year's resolution.
Get them out of the house.
I know.
Yes.
And I'm trying not to buy any, right? But that's really hard to. So yeah, so maybe for another subject we can talk about how to get me off the sugar craving thing.
Yeah, just know that when we do the whole, oh, I'll start Monday or I'll start at the new year, you're digging yourself into a deeper hole where it's going to get harder and harder to really get going, right? It's like when you try to do like kindling on a fire, you're essentially like dampening the kindling. You're kind of splashing water on it where that spark just isn't going to light right away. You're going to be more fatigued. You're going to feel yuckier. You're going to weigh more. You're not going to be as motivated. You're going to be training that the discipline. It takes discipline to consistently eat sweets, right? People are like, I need to be more consistent. I'm like, well, you're consistently doing something. It's just not the right thing. So keep that in mind.
Well, I'm just trying to find some sweet alternatives. Like I did. Oh, do you want another recipe? Sorry, it's not recipe day, but I took a whole bunch of apples and I put them in the air fryer. I saw this on the air fryer apples. I chopped them up, put them in the air fryer, sprinkled a whole bunch. I sprayed them with a little bit of the butter flavored Pam, which is probably horrible for you, but because I wanted the cinnamon, and I have that monk fruit sugar, which
Mhm.
isn't really sugar, it's monk fruit. And I put a whole bunch of cinnamon and that sugar on it. Made it kind of caramely. So
Yeah.
I put a bowl of that in my fridge. So I'm having that with cottage cheese for my sweet snack.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to transfer over.
Yes, absolutely. And I think the biggest thing that helps us is reflecting on how did we feel after the chocolate brownie with caramel sauce? Like, how did we physically feel aside from the mental guilt of it all? But did we feel energized and light? Because for me, when I have a rice cake with peanut butter and dark chocolate chips on top and honey and cinnamon, I feel really good. I got that sweet thing that I wanted. I balanced my blood sugar, but there's not guilt nor that lethargic feeling.
Well, I feel great when I eat sweets because it's so good. But yeah, so I'll get there
Yes.
with your help. With your help, I will get there.
And loving sweets, I always say, like, you can have them, but they do have to fit within your calorie allotment. And
Yeah.
some people find that it's not worth it. But that's where pre-tracking is a great tool of I am going to have 3 brownies tonight. Okay, but it's got to fit, or I promise you the scale's not going to go the other way. It's
Yeah.
it's what are you willing to accept, settle on? And
Yeah.
if you're okay with the scale staying the same, which most of us here absolutely are not. That's why we're part of this program. Then go ahead. But nothing changes if nothing changes. We think that once we join the program, start tracking calories, that everything's going to change. No, you have to change. It'd be like joining a gym and just sitting in the lobby and expecting to lose weight. It
Hmm.
takes work, which is so frustrating because we're not used to that sort of thing. But if you can stick to it for long enough and say no for long enough, you get that again, that glimmer, that 1 pound down. Oh, it works. What happened if I
Hmm.
kept going? And that's the new excitement that you're chasing. So,
I think I could do it because I had company this weekend and we just ate. I'm not going to tell you what we ate, but we ate bad stuff. Donuts. Did I say donuts? Donuts and just. And so when the company left, I said, okay, I'm back on track. And I did so good. I had bone broth with some vegetables in it and a little, what are those things called that you put in there? Wontons, and I've been doing my bone broth every night for my dinner, you know. So so I know I can do it, It's just the
well,
sweets, the sweets.
and I would say, I know we're coming up against time. I had to plug you guys in. Welcome to my messy bedroom. Uh, that going cold turkey, maybe, haha, Thanksgiving pun, isn't the answer, but maybe it's leading up to the new year is either lowering your portion or trying one new swap a week. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to try
Oh,
one healthy sweets recipe a week until I find one I really like.
mhm.
Yeah,
I like that idea a lot. Yeah.
cool. Getting creative.
Okay. I'm
Okay.
done. I'm
Well,
done.
I know we're up against time. So, biggest thing, message me if you need a summary or a reminder about your approach for this week. Do not forget to share at your family dinner, at your gatherings about your journey, and encourage people to start theirs. I really want to be able to help 30 women by the end of January. We already have one new member. Her name is Heidi. So, hopefully, we'll be seeing her in the call soon. And Black Friday for First Phorm. This is truly the best time to get your supplements and get them working for you for the new year. And if you start a subscription and you start it this week, you're going to get your new shipment right before the new year. Okay. And so, or maybe like just in that first week. The biggest things I want you to focus on when it comes to your supplements for the new year is going to be protein, OptiGreens 50, and magnesium, because we're going to boost our metabolism, burn fat with that protein, We're going to improve our digestion and slim our tummy down with the greens. And we're going to sleep and rest and recover really well with the magnesium. That's your trio. The magnesium's a 90-day supply. I would never let you go a day without the protein, specifically from First Phorm and the greens. So those are the three that I'd love for you all to attack and enjoy and appreciate. But hey, if you're feeling fired up and you want to get a pre-workout, or if you want to talk to me about creatine and if it's right for you, newsflash, it is. Let me know. But let this be your time. I know that this holiday is about giving, and I'm going to make gift guides for what you can buy for your partner, or your best friend. But your family and friends deserve the best version of you. That's the greatest gift you can give them, I promise you. Because whatever gift you give them as a cranky friend, or as a jealous friend, or as a friend who isn't reliable, there's not value there. But by pouring into the supplements that are going to work for you in your program and this process, that's the best gift you can give them. Wow, that was so good. I'm so glad I plugged my computer in for that. Woo. All right, so we are going to get out of here. Happy Thanksgiving. Remember, you do not have to track on Thursday. I still want to see assessments come in this weekend, though. We cannot come face to face with our choices without checking in on them regularly. So I'm proud of you. I love you, and I'm thankful for you. Bye.
Bye.